Hi, everyone. Welcome to Radiant Living, Inspiring Humanity to Thrive. I'm your host, Marisa B. Today, I'd like to welcome visual artist, award-winning author, botanical artisan, herbalist, art therapist, Katelyn Davida Mariah. Hi, Katelyn. Thank you so much for coming today.
Hi, thank you for having me on.
I think this is just wonderful. I'm going to keep this open today because I want you to tell your story because, of course, you're an artist.
Yeah.
And with that comes generally traditional study. And of course, I mentioned that you're an art therapist. So of course, that's again, traditional studying and licensing sometimes or certification often. But I want you to tell the audience today your story because it is a powerful one. Can you begin by telling us a little bit about what happened to you and how art played a part in it?
Hi, everyone. Marisa B here from Radiant Living. If you like what we're doing and want to keep the conversations going, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know every time we upload a video. Thank you.
Wow, and that's a big story.
Yes.
Because I've been an artist since I was a little kid, and I have my credentials are I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts and a master's degree in psych and art therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And probably about 30, maybe 30, just over 30 years ago, I started doing visionary art, which was kind of a spontaneous thing. I had no idea what I was doing, and it was just stuff that was coming out of me. And I learned from a man called Ron Mangervite, who was really versed in myth and symbolism and all that kind of stuff. I learned that I was doing something really profound, that I was able to take all kinds of information from another place, bring it together into a cohesive form that made sense. So I was pulling from all these different like ancient traditions, creating image, and it had a certain meaning. And I mean, I was floored when I heard that because I'm just painting, right? And so that was about 30 years ago. I'd gotten sick when I was in my mid 30s. I had what is called a strangulated bowel.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in surgery for about 8 hours. And what I think happened was while I was in surgery, my consciousness went somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a soul retrieval. You know what a soul retrieval is?
Yes. Yeah.
It's like I brought back that part of myself
Mm-hmm.
that knows how to tap into higher realms and paint. So I've been doing that ever since. And it's been my vehicle, my personal vehicle for healing. And I think I'm going to go to my biggest healing event was my heart.
Yes.
And that was from March 2016 to November 2017. I had 5 heart attacks and open heart surgery. And I really shouldn't be here, but I had, because of my mindset and because of the art,
Mm-hmm.
I took my art really took me on a healing journey. And every time I'd paint, it was like it was showing me the pathway to health through the symbolism.
Mm-hmm.
And I did 110 paintings during that period. While it was probably 4 years of my healing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was painting every time. And it would just be an image that would come through. I'd paint it, and then I could look at it and I could see where my healing journey was going because of the symbolism it was giving me. So that 110 paintings. And what happens, the way that I do paintings, I don't paint unless something comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So I can go for days or weeks without painting. If an image starts coming through, I have to paint it. Mm-hmm. So I immediately sit down and paint because I know that there's some information that's coming mm-hmm. through, not only just for me, but for anybody else that looks at it. Mm-hmm. And I have to catch it while it's coming in. So
no, I do have one thing to say. This is why I was so happy when you said that you had time to come on the show, because this is very powerful. You studied the arts, you studied clinically,
Yes.
and then not only were you out there in the world with these tools, but then you use them for yourself. That the profound healing journey that you went on. I mean, to think, I mean, you're relatively young, 5 heart attacks. That's frightening. 1 heart attack is frightening, but 5 over the course of that time period, and then having to have the surgery and using art to heal. It is a definitely powerful story, because you're bringing your personal healing journey to others when you're helping them, but you're still working through your personal healing journey. And as you said, you just mentioned a minute ago that when it comes through, you have to put it down. You have to paint then. And I would like that leads me to the first question. What's the medium that you work in most often? I know when I have artists on, they work in a number of different things.
Right.
So what is it that you work most often in?
So my visionary language is watercolor.
Oh, okay.
And I don't even have to think. And I can give you an example, because I'm learning another technique. It's a Renaissance technique that's oil and egg tempera.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't pull vision through because I'm thinking about the practice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about what I need to do next. With watercolor, it's part of me.
Mm-hmm.
I know how much water, because I use watercolor pencils, so I know how much water. I just know the medium so well that it's a great vehicle when something's coming through. And the work that I do, the visionary work that I do, isn't as detailed as what I would do with the oils, because it's fast. I just have to do it and get it on the paper.
Right.
So, watercolor is my main vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I do collage.
Right. And you mentioned oil. You do use oils.
Yeah. But not when I'm doing visionary stuff. Although my oil paintings are visionary, they just take a lot longer.
Right.
So it's not something I can sit down and do in 4 hours or, whatever.
Right. And how large of a scale do you work? And I do want to tell the audience, I will be putting in, that's what I like to do with the artists. Of course, I like to somehow do some sort of, either a watermark or something on the artist's work, because I just don't want to put it out there to the public, but I will be cutting in some of your work so people will see it when they actually see this. When it airs, they'll actually see your work. And I'm sure you painted what's behind you.
Yeah, that's on my wall.
Yes. Yeah. And you actually painted that yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will definitely show them the work, some of the work, the
biggest I've painted probably is 24 by 36. I'm usually working on maybe a 14 by 20 or that size.
Now, is that both oil and the?
No, the oils, some of the oils are smaller. Right. No, I'm probably in the same size with the oil paintings.
Now, I have so many questions because you come from, because you encompass all the worlds, right? Because you you've done clinical work, you are an artist. Now, do you show your work apart from so you do show your work at galleries and so forth?
Yeah, in fact, while I was sick, I wasn't showing my art. So that was quite a big period. But this year, I think I've had 9 shows in Minnesota. Wow. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I've had shows because I've painted in different places around the world. I've also had shows there. But most of my stuff I show locally.
And then do you sell online also? Do you have like an online space? Yes.
Yeah.
Because I know that some artists, that's become something that they're doing, right? I mean, maybe 20 years ago, we wouldn't have been discussing that type of
Right.
thing, but
Right.
everyone has to, right, grow and go more or less.
Yeah. And that's a part that I'm still
Mhm,
really working on,
mhm.
is to get the work for sale. I have a gallery online, but
Right,
it's
right.
people could ask me about, if they
Mhm,
want a piece, but I
mhm.
don't have it set up right now so that they can just
Right, like
click
it's a
and buy.
store.
Yeah.
Right, that it's as a store, right.
Yeah.
Right, where I did have artisan that are more, I guess, more adept at putting the store online, and so they actually have their
Right.
work even printed on other items. They
Yeah.
sell other items with their work on it. So, but that's a full-time occupation practically,
Well,
right? I mean,
yeah.
apart from doing the work, the
Right.
artwork, that's also a full-time job. So it's
Right.
it becomes, it becomes very hectic, right?
Well,
I know we're
especially
all talking.
like
Go
I'm
ahead.
multifaceted, so I'm doing herbs, I'm writing books, and I'm painting. So it's almost like, oh, okay, I should really do that.
I know, and right. And sometimes, especially people that are creative, they want to do the creative part, and all the
Yeah.
other stuff,
Yeah.
feels sometimes like drudgery to them or work
Yeah,
to them. And it
exactly.
is, and in all respects, being your own boss is a lot more work than going somewhere to work for so many hours a day, because it
It
really is
is.
much more work. It is.
Right.
And it is difficult. But you mentioned books, and I do want to bring that up because you've written a number of books
I have.
and illustrated the work in
Yeah.
there as well. It's all yours completely.
Yes.
Can you speak a little bit about that? When was the first book actually done?
The first book I did was called Empowered Health and Wellness, Awaken Your Inner Physician. And the inner physician, to me, is a part that we all have.
Mhm.
People don't realize that. And I started working with my inner physician years ago. And so that book is about how to do that.
Mhm.
And it's about how to do it in creative ways, because I'm an
Mhm.
artist. So there's a lot of different activities that you can do to tap into that part of yourself. So that was my first book, and that was, I think, in 2015.
Mhm.
I've done 3 children's books. I just finished, I guess it's been 2 years now. I have an herb journal
Mhm.
that teaches people
Oh,
about
that's
herbs.
interesting.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
interesting, an herb journal.
Yeah, it's unique because it's the information about herbs, but then
Mhm.
people can take notes.
Mhm.
So while they're learning, they're able to just take notes about things. They can draw in there. It's a really good way to learn about herbs.
Well, that's actually sounds very interesting. I like that idea about an herb journal.
Yeah.
That you can actually, write things in. But I will list the books. I will absolutely list the books.
I have a
And
new
all
one
of your
too.
information. Oh, you
I
do
have
have another one?
Yeah, it's called Sacred Botanicals,
Mhm.
and it's exploring. I went back through ancient cultures of the goddess to
Mhm.
learn about what herbs they used and how they used them. And so it's about 13 goddesses, and we go in a time machine to these different
Oh,
cultures. The goddesses speak. They get to
oh,
tour. It's
that
like
sounds interesting. Has that been published yet? That's out there already
it's
for
almost
publish?
ready.
Almost ready.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. That sounds
Um,
actually great.
it's amazing. It's really because it's visionary storytelling. I have paintings in there, and then I have information about the herbs. And
Boy, that's a
my
lot of work.
yeah,
A lot
and
of work. A lot of work.
my purpose is to bring back those ancient techniques that they used and use them now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be a fun book.
Yeah, that does sound very interesting because I feel that anything that we can do naturally is much better than
Yeah.
pharmaceuticals. I know pharmaceuticals are easy, but they do a lot of damage as well.
That's right.
And I don't have anything against
Right.
any type of medication, and especially not Western medicine, their diagnostic level. I've said this before on the show. I'm okay with the diagnostic level. They do have fabulous equipment that does show
Yes.
what could possibly be going on. But I don't think that necessarily we always have to take medication for everything, because there is always that risk that it causes damage to other things. And so why not use herbal remedies? I'm a believer in that. And so I think that that's really important that we're constantly talking about it, because
Well, they put me on 5 pharmaceuticals for my heart.
So,
I'm on no pharmaceuticals. I'm just
oh
doing
wow.
herb. Yes.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that for 7 years. I'm fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I know that it might take longer herbally.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes.
right. But it can in fact be effective. And especially to people who don't have an acute illness, to start ahead of time. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's better to use the herbal
Yes.
when you can, rather than running to
Preventative.
medicines. Yes,
Yeah.
to type be right preventative, and to live healthily. It's
Yes.
always better than to run immediately to chemicals, because we really don't know. And I don't think that any of them know, even those that make them, know that really in the long run what that
Agree.
chemical compound, right, is going to do.
I agree.
Yeah. And so, but that's wonderful that you're actually off of all the medications.
Yeah.
So
back
for
to my
yourself
journal,
personally.
I did
Yeah.
botanical drawings for all the herbs.
That's fabulous. I mean, that's just fabulous. And that's the one that's good. I mean, that's so much work. I mean, you think like you're doing the intuitive work, because when it comes to you have to put it down. You have to get it out and paint it. You're doing other types of art. You're doing the botanicals. I mean, that's a lot of work. Do you find that you have to use a schedule during the week? Like, do you have to break yourself? I mean, especially since you were ill at one time.
I was, yeah. I do very poorly with structure.
Mm-hmm.
So, in fact, I have a friend who's really like that. She's structured all the way,
Mm-hmm.
and we laugh because I don't have any structure in my life. I go with the inspiration and the flow.
Mm-hmm. And does that work the same way for the books? Because I'm assuming that has to be a little bit more organized. Well, because you're writing, you're collecting information, data.
It is. That's more organized, but it isn't really structured because I do it when I'm inspired.
Mm-hmm.
And like the children's books, it was like, you know what a download is?
Yes.
Yeah. So each of those children's books was like a download. The whole thing came into my mind. Mm-hmm. Like I was walking through my dining room and the whole thing fell into my mind. I'm like, okay. So they're all like that. Mm-hmm. And then I have to do it.
Right. Right. Then you get to work. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now, do you still see clients? Do you still work in the traditional therapy field?
No.
With clients? No.
No. Mm-mm. No. I did that for 27 years.
Yes.
It was enough.
Yes. Yeah, I would assume, because that's what I thought. I assumed that you had left the traditional one-on-one therapy.
Yeah. And I worked with children who had behavioral issues my whole career.
Right.
And in different settings. So it was really intense work, but I loved it, because those were the kids that needed me.
Yes. Yeah. And, we thank you for your service, because it is a service when you think about it, right? Not everyone can go into that field. And so now, how do you fill your days now? It's all art. It's all,
no, it's all different.
It's botanicals things. Because you do you actually teach botanicals too as well. Yes, because you have done some herbal.
Yeah, I've done classes.
Yes,
I have a whole line of products that I sell. Mm-hmm. And so I'm doing like little shows when I'll have a booth in a show to sell those.
Yes.
Like I just finished the book that I was telling you about, so now it has to be formatted. Yeah. But that took up a lot of my time. Mm-hmm. And I also am painting. Mm-hmm. So and I'm painting at least a couple times a week. So I'm busy.
Now, do you have a studio on your property?
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
And so I would assume you are busy. And having the studio now, because I find this fascinating, because you're doing the botanical, you do the teaching, you do the herbal, and then do you do that in your studio as well? Or is the studio strictly for painting, or is it really to do everything in the studio
Oh, that's
with
just
the
for
books and
painting.
just
Yeah,
for painting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a pretty big house,
Mhm,
so I can have designated areas for different things.
mhm,
Like this room is my guest room, but I
mhm.
also have some art stuff set up, so I sometimes come in here and paint.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. When the mood hits you, which
Yeah.
room, I'm assuming, or
Yeah.
which medium that you want to work in. And so
Right.
now, how can people find, first of all, how can they find your products? Because you have a line of products. How can they find the products?
The
We've already
herbal.
spoken about the gallery of art, and that
Yeah.
it's really not a traditional storefront, but people can contact you. Do you have a website, first of
Yeah.
all?
I have
Yes.
3 websites. I
Okay.
have one for my writing, I have one for my
Right.
herbs, and one for my paintings.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Okay.
yeah. So my herbal stuff is magicofalchemy.com.
Okay, I will definitely put that in the description. And so people can order the products online. And how do you find, so you're actually creating the products?
Yes.
You're actually creating the line of
I
products.
actually have a 17-foot medicine wheel in my backyard. So all my
Oh, lovely.
my herbs are all organic.
Mhm,
And I buy organic. Anything that I
mhm.
have to use in the product is organic.
Yes, yes.
So the frequency is really high in my
Mhm, mhm.
work.
And so now do you grow any of your own?
Yeah,
Or do
it's all
you,
grown on my property.
oh, it is. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
I cannot believe you do all this work. That takes up a lot of time, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
I find even with a small garden, that it takes up a lot of time.
like with the
I
weeds,
just,
with the
yeah,
weeds.
the
Yeah,
weeds especially. And I have a small garden, but the weeds especially, but also the processing of anything. Like
yeah,
now, um, talking about trying to, and not that I have a large house, but I don't have a small house either, but the processing of anything, because if you wanted to make soap, for example, you need, and you want to make
yeah,
it organic, you need to
yep,
have certain products. We can't
right,
grow, per se, we can't grow all those products on
right,
our
right,
property. Certain things
right.
have to be purchased organically, but
Well,
then you need all the room for everything, right? I mean, I
right.
can't believe you're growing everything. You're growing
Well,
everything. You're weeding everything.
you
Oh
should
my
see my
gosh.
kitchen. It's all bottles of herbs and oils and all that stuff.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I start from the seed to the product. It goes all
Oh,
the way
wow.
through.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
hand letter all of my labels. So
Oh my
the
God.
end product, you can feel the energy in the end product. Whereas if you or you could order the same thing on Amazon, it's not the
Right, but
same.
you don't
It's
really
yeah,
know.
no, and it's just not the same because there isn't this personal energy that's in it.
Right. Well, that's definite. There's no personal energy. You don't know where it's coming. I mean,
Right.
you're taking it from seed to completion and then
Yep.
out to clients. So
Yeah.
that's incredible. And
Yeah.
I can't believe you have the time, you find the time to do that as well, especially with the gardening and growing everything. Um, that's just so much.
Yeah.
Um, and you make you make oils as well?
Yeah, I make infused oils, which is different than essential oils.
Yes, right.
Yeah. I make flower essences
Hmm.
and salves and tinctures.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you go and do shows as well.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
actually bring the things to shows as well. It's a lot of work. Where do you see, I mean, with all this going on, where do you see yourself going from here? I mean, you say the book is there's another book almost ready,
Yeah.
coming out for publication. Where do you see yourself going? Because also you mentioned that you don't have a structure. So, and
Yeah.
things are either downloaded or come to you in a vision. I
Yeah.
would think that it's hard to plan then
Well, it is, but
that way.
I really feel like this book that I've just finished is going to open up another field for me
Mm-hmm.
where I can, because it's pulling together all of my things. It's the art, the writing, it's the herbs, all in one package. And I think that it'll kind of structure itself
Mm-hmm.
because I can teach from it. There's all kinds of things that I can do from that.
Now, are you because you already were doing some teaching were you doing it online or in person,
No,
or are
no,
you
I was doing it
on
in
doing both?
person.
You
was
were
doing
doing
it
it in
in
person.
Yeah.
So you're not doing anything online.
No.
I would think it's difficult with botanicals,
Well, yeah, I haven't figured it out. So
right? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure people do it, but I would think it's difficult. I mean, I
Yeah.
only recall doing a class or two. I had taken my daughter to when she was young. We had done a class
Yeah.
or two local, and it's, you're feeling the
Well,
items, you're
that's
actually creating things. How do you
that,
create,
yeah.
I mean, you can have stuff in
That's
your home, I guess, but yeah.
well, that's the part I like is that people interacting with it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're doing online, you can't feel the people. You
Right.
know, you can't. It's just different.
Right. Yeah, because especially I would think, especially with botanicals, because you are showing the people what to do, and they're doing it at their location,
Yeah.
and they have to pay attention, but they're also creating something. I think it might be a little bit difficult. I know people do it, but I
People
think
do
it
it.
might be a
Yeah.
little bit difficult. Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
might be a little bit difficult. But so you've never taught anything online, always in person.
Like you said, I'm one of those people that's not tacky.
Yeah.
You know, that's a whole nother learning curve.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
it's a big job too. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a big job. I mean, I'm assuming, everybody can learn. I mean, we all can learn
Right.
once you get the system down pat, it's okay. But
Yeah.
I would think that some things lend themselves better to being online than others. And
Yeah.
so, have you gone far away, or are you just local to teaching? Like
Oh,
some
just
people like you have
local
a
right
schedule.
now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Just in the local area.
Yeah.
And so, do you think that there's another book in you?
I don't know.
Mm.
Because I just finished this one. It feels like this feels like my biggest piece
Mhm.
right now.
Yeah.
But I felt like that with my first book too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I can't wait for it to be published. I can't wait to get it. And so when's your next? What do you have a schedule for your gallery shows? Like, do you have something on your website that shows where you're showing, or how do people get to see your work? I know you said you have a gallery online, but do you have like a
and
calendar?
I usually put it just on like Facebook because it's all local. And so I haven't really put it on my website. I should. I'm an artist.
And yeah. And so you're on social media as well.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
on different social media
Yeah.
platforms. And do you have any groups on there, or just your pages are on there? Just you don't have any groups, like no.
No, I've thought about doing that because I think it might be with this new book might be a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I've also thought about Patreon.
Mm-hmm. Yes, to use a Patreon account.
Yeah.
For clients. Yeah, because I'm assuming that people are always looking for stuff. Like I myself, I mean, I've used herbs a lot, and I grow a lot of them, but it always amazes me. The other day I saw something growing outside my fence, and I went to see what it was, and it was actually mugwort. And I'm like, oh, the birds must have brought this here, because I know that
that's
you
a
can
good
use
herb.
I know it is. It's a great herb. I mean, I have mostly all medicinal things in there.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the second year that I actually have marshmallow flowering. And I know, like, that's like,
marshmallow. Yeah.
that's
Well, I
one
tell
of the
people
best.
I harvest my lawn before I mow
Yes.
because
we have no chemicals. We have no
Yeah,
chemicals.
right.
We've never had chemicals on the property.
Same.
And I do a lot of harvesting from the property itself.
Yeah.
Not that it's a large piece, but everything that's here, I pretty much use. But that the birds must have brought, because that I know I didn't plant. I mean, I've planted other things, comfrey and things like that, but the St. John's wort, but that I never planted, but it was right there. And I'm sure it was the birds, because I do feed the birds, and they have a tendency of bringing a lot of things and transplanting a lot of things,
which is
too.
awesome.
It is wonderful, but you know what? You know how you live and learn every day, and every day is a learning experience. And the last year was the first time it happened. They must have transplanted some vegetables, because I do have a small vegetable garden. They must have transplanted some of the vegetables close to each other in the squash family. And so they married and created their own type of hybrid. And I didn't know that could happen.
Right.
And I learned that it absolutely can happen, because it was too close to each other. I didn't plan it that way, but yes, because they brought them
of
close to each other.
pollination.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
okay.
So I got zucchinis that were almost like a Hubbard squash at the same time.
Wow.
Yes, still, of course, still edible, still usable, still delicious, but it so surprised me, and I didn't realize that that could happen. Nor did I realize that they call them, there's a name for them when the plants propagate on their own, or they bloom on their own the following year. Plants that you wouldn't think would come back in a vegetable in a vegetable garden, and I've had a lot of those happen to me.
You could
mostly
plant
tomatoes.
You could plant those seeds and see what comes up next year.
Oh, right. To the, yes, for the different ones. Yes. This year I tried to separate them completely, but I don't know if that's going to work, because we do feed a lot of birds, and there's a lot of wildlife that moves things around. But the botanicals, I'm trying, you'll have to learn about those every day. I mean, I've had other herbalists on, and I know that even though they're herbalists like yourself, you're always studying. And I'm assuming that the research that you had to do for the goddesses and bringing all that back, I mean, that's extensive research.
Yeah. Well, and you can't know everything.
Right.
Even the plants that you do know.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. Even the ones you do know, that there's so much more to learn from them.
Yep.
And but since we're talking about herbs, and how do you store everything? Because you are growing from seed, do you have a greenhouse? Do you have a polytunnel? No,
I'd love that. So my season is the growing season in Minnesota.
Is short, right?
Yeah. And then everything basically dies out. The perennials come back.
Mm-hmm.
But I take all of my stuff and dry it. So I have a whole 5 shelves of dried herbs. And then I have a couple of shelves with tinctures, and then flower essences and oils. So it's just like I just can go to the shelf and pull out what I need.
Right. For in your home. But then when you do the seeds, what do you save the seeds?
I don't save the
home
seeds.
And then no.
I should, but it's just another thing.
Right. Well, yeah, sure. More to do. So then the seeds that you start with, do you purchase them? Purchase them organically, the seeds that you start with?
Yeah.
And so you're bringing them in the house then, right? If you don't have a greenhouse to start them, where do you store them when you start?
I start most of them in the ground in the spring.
Oh, right in the ground. Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, wow.
I've tried to do it in the house, and if you don't have a grow light, they get real leggy.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just doesn't work to transplant them.
Mm-hmm.
So I just start them in the ground.
Oh, wow. I never thought of that. I mean, we have my husband built me a greenhouse from old windows, and
nice.
Yeah, he did. I was storing these old windows for a long time, so he put the greenhouse together. But I also have a polytunnel. He made a polytunnel, which is it like it was a half wall with the dome. But we're in New York, and it's cold in the winter sometimes, so we're trying to figure out how to regulate the temperature.
Yeah,
I would like to do the seeds. I'd like to do the seeds in the polytunnel, but you have to regulate the temperature.
Right.
So it does get a lot of sun, of course, when the sun is out. But last year, for example, was terribly cold here. It was unseasonably
which means the
cold.
ground is cold.
Yes, and everything was really in bad shape last year. You couldn't put anything even to save in the polytunnels and hope that you would have them saved. Yeah, and hope that you would have them saved. It just wasn't going to work. We've gotten barrels now. I heard that if you can paint the barrels black and fill them with water, and that they can retain the heat during the day if the sun is out. But we don't always have sun here.
Same here.
Yeah. But I don't. I think that's a lot. Like, I don't make everything because otherwise I would be busy and all day long doing that. I mean, I know a lot of people do. I mean, I do make some things, but not every single thing that's out there could I possibly process and save. You know, and then so your tinctures, so you're actually, you're making tinctures, you're not distilling anything. You're not doing any distillation or anything.
No, I'm making tinctures. Yeah,
just tinctures. But some of them have to be heated down, right? Some tinctures have to be heated.
No,
not all.
I just let them sit for a month or 6 weeks, and you're gonna pull out all the constituents that way.
And do you create any of the salves and ointments
Yeah.
too?
Yep.
You do.
Yeah.
Because then the products that you create like that, you have to have the tincture sitting for a while, I'm assuming, right? Because
Well, so
they
they're
have to
made
sit
from the oils.
from the oils. Yes.
Yeah.
But they have to still sit, don't they?
Yep.
They have to
The
sit.
same, I let them sit the same amount of time as I would a tincture.
And then you're processing everything at
Yeah.
home, because I know that, right? Can you speak a little bit about that? Because it is very different. Salves are different than ointments,
Yeah.
right? And there's different, and of course we're talking all organic. So we're talking about products that have to be used organically to create these things.
Yes.
Do you make soap as well?
No.
Oh, because that's another thing, right?
That
That's
would be
another
another
project.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one candle that I make. It's for space clearing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
okay.
amazing. And it was a creation that I came up with, and you light it and it'll clear your space in a room.
Oh, wow.
But I don't
That
make
sounds important.
I don't have a line of candles. I just have that one.
Right.
So like tinctures are for physical issues.
Right.
Flower essences are for emotional issues. Salves are for anything on the skin. And the same with the infused oils. I also sell those in little bottles.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can use those are for skin issues too.
Mm-hmm. And then you mentioned flower essences, because that's a whole other area as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And those will focus on any kind of emotional issues or the spiritual level.
Mm-hmm.
And so the essence of the flower it's almost like homeopathic.
Mm-hmm. Right. But because homeopathic, for anybody who doesn't know, that's like taking down and taking down. I mean, I know there's a formula, but it's like taking the essence down further and further from the original. And I think that the medium that they put it in is different than, of course, an oil and so forth. And a flower essence, the medium is different, correct? Yeah. In a flower essence, it's a different medium as well.
Yeah. It's water, basically.
Right. Yeah. Right, because tinctures are usually they don't have to be alcohol, but they often are.
I use alcohol. I use alcohol because that's the best thing to use. But you can use glycerin. Mm-hmm. You can use vinegar. Mm-hmm. They just aren't going to be as powerful as that one with alcohol.
Right. And I know that some people don't. I knew some people don't use alcohol for whatever reason that they don't. But I do know that traditionally they were done with alcohol.
Yeah.
And then your oils, do you use different carriers for oils? Or just you have a favorite?
I use olive oil. Yeah. But you can use avocado, you can use jojoba, lots of different kinds.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of people use almond oil and things like that, right? They use almond or safflower oil, I've heard. So, but your preference is olive. Your preference is olive oil.
The other thing that reminds me, the other product I have is an amazing skin cream. And that has it's got 3 or 4 different oils in it, plus the infused oil, and it's an amazing skin cream.
It would be fabulous if you had some classes online.
I know.
Put together online, right? It would be fabulous. Because you know what? Like we said, you have to learn every day, right? There's always something new to learn. And it's always wonderful to talk to even other people that have similar interests, because you learn so much.
Right. I mean, it could happen. You never know what you're going to be doing next.
Right.
I could be online. Who knows?
Yeah, it's true. To offer the knowledge to everybody. I say that there's always so much, right? We've clearly seen so much sadness, so much horror out in the world, that it's always better to be out there with love and with sharing and with all of this, rather than all the hatred, right? And the prejudice that's out there.
I feel like I'm impacting the field in a positive way to counterbalance that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is so important, right? It's so important, because we can see that that's absolutely needed. Yeah. Always needed, right?
Yes.
And we always say, if that one person that hears something, and it could be anything that is of value for them, right? In an instant that they need it. That's
Yeah.
what's important.
Right.
And, we know we've contributed to helping.
Well,
someone.
right. And back to my paintings, because they are that way. Somebody can look at it and see something that somebody else doesn't see,
Mhm.
and it can awaken something in them.
Mhm.
So I know, even if somebody doesn't understand my painting, they understand it at another level.
Right.
So
And understand it for themselves, right? I mean, that's
exactly.
right. It's a message being sent to them as well.
Yes.
Because I know your artwork is very, it's very interpretive for
Yeah.
a person. It's the message is for that person at that time.
Right. Well, right. And the thing about way I work is I don't have all this symbolism or mythology in my mind.
Right.
I have a blank sheet of paper,
Mhm.
and I'm listening to what's coming through and
Mm-hmm.
painting that. And it's always got some symbol, symbolic
Mhm.
meaning. But it's not my intention.
Right.
My intention is to hear the information and paint it.
Mhm.
So that's how it can speak to anybody who looks at it.
Mhm. And I'm thinking that also if someone is painting specifically with intention of symbols, it could sometimes be forced,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Sometimes it could
Yeah.
be forced that
Yeah.
it may not be what they really want, the message that they really want to get out there.
Right.
Because oftentimes I hear that from a lot of artists, that it's just whatever came to them in their mind. That's the whole
Mhm.
idea of being an artist.
Yep.
It's something that they see in their mind, and then that's the imagery that's powerful to the
Right.
world, depending on who
Right.
looks at it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The message.
So I
And-
whatever I hear, like if I hear paint a bear with a pineapple on its head, I'm going to do that. I don't know what it means, and that's the thing. I don't know what it means when I'm
Right.
painting. It's just, information coming through. And
And
the
I'm
color,
assuming that it means different things to different people too, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm assuming even, and I'm also thinking that during different times in people's lives, right? Because
Yes.
it could be looked at today and mean
Right.
something to someone, and then even in 5 years means something else to
Well,
them.
so I do soul portraits.
Oh,
for
wow.
people. And so I can do those non-local, so they're not with me.
Right.
And it does exactly that, because all I have to do is say their name and an image comes in.
Mm-hmm.
I paint the painting, and I've been doing this for probably 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I have never, and most of the time when the people get it, they're like, wow, or they'll cry. And 5
Wow.
years later, they're saying it's still speaking to me.
Yeah.
So, it's like unraveling something in their higher self.
Now, how can someone get in contact you for that? They would have
That's
to
on my
contact you
website.
to, that is okay.
Website. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
so
that's
they can look there.
That's Katelyn Mariah, visionary artist.
Yes. So I will actually list that as well in the description.
Okay. Yeah. And
Yes,
I love doing those.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That really sounds interesting, especially that you can do it from afar.
Yeah.
Because something just comes in.
Well,
You have to, does anybody have to send anything to you? Just their name?
It happens the same way, because I connect with my higher wisdom and theirs. And so it's just coming from them to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely make sure I'll list that.
And if people go on my website, there's probably 40 or 50 different paintings that they can look at that I've done.
Definitely.
Yeah, I've done hundreds of them, maybe a few hundred, but I have there's maybe more than that. Maybe 70 of them are on my website.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to take a peek myself, because of course I've seen your artwork, but I didn't specifically look at those.
Yeah.
The soul portraits. That's very interesting. Well, with, oh my gosh, all this going on, I have to say thank you for coming on the show, that you even were able to make a little time for me, because I was so happy to be able to.
I was excited to be on.
Yeah, I was so happy to be able to get a time in with you because there was so, because you're so knowledgeable, you're doing so much, and of course your story so powerful. I'm a person, usually you hear a person had all these heart attacks, and they're certainly not running around doing everything that you're doing. That's
No,
yeah, that is amazing.
No, I'm really blessed. I have a really great body. And when I had the first heart attack, because I had a dream before that the night before, and I had sacred geometry put into my body.
Oh.
And so when I had the first heart attack, I went, this isn't physical, this is spiritual.
Mm.
And so I was really working at the spiritual level all through.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it was, because when the surgeon did my heart surgery, he told my daughter, he said, I've done 1,000 open heart surgeries, and I've never seen a healthy heart till I saw your mother's.
Wow.
He said it was normal. And 5 heart attacks, it shouldn't be normal.
Right. But you were working on it all along.
Yeah.
Because of your dream. Yeah.
And because it was not really supposed to kill me, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to take me to another level.
Right. Because you're right. Because you have so much to offer and so much message, right, that you have to get out there.
Yeah.
Well, Katelyn, I have to say thank you for coming on today. It was a pleasure having you on, discussing all these topics with you. I hope that I can have you back on. Yeah, it was great. Yeah. I hope I can have you back on again. And I definitely will have all the information out there for the audience.
Okay, great.
So thank you.
Thank you so
take
much.
care.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Bye now.
Bye.